In modern gaming, handholding is abundant. It's almost impossible to play a modern game without getting spoon-fed information on your abilities, where to go, and the objective at hand. Although Nintendo has developed a reputation for making baby games, Metroid Dread is the exception. There is no handholding going on here. No one's telling you where to go. There's no waypoints or arrows to guide you on your quest. The feeling of isolation that you experience while playing Metroid Dread only intensifies as you are running away from killer robots and taking on the most intense boss fights that require little to no error. Go ahead and tuck the kiddies into bed before you play this bad boy, because this ain't for the youngsters. Metroid is not a bloody, gory game like Doom Eternal. Kids could technically watch this, but the intense level design will cause way too much anxiety for a little one to take. Hell, at times it was too much for me to take. Metroid Dread is an emotional roller coaster. In Metroid, you play as Samus, the most badass bounty hunter across the land. She's on a mission to investigate planet ZDR. Early on, some hunk kicks Samus's butt, and she's stripped of all of her abilities. Samus needs to regain her abilities, explore a giant world, and get strong enough to eventually face the bad guy. The Metroid genre is filled with exploration and combat. You're constantly on edge as some creature is trying to take your life, all while trying to figure out where to venture to next. There is very little downtime in Metroid Dread. As Samus's moveset improves, so do the areas in which she can explore. Her charge beam can open up specific doors, her morph ball can get her through little tunnels throughout the world, and her grapple beam can help her swing across platforms she otherwise can't reach. Metroid has always been known for embracing backtracking. It's always important to take a mental note of an item that seems unattainable at the time. Odds are you'll be back, more powerful, more versatile, and above all else, more intelligent due to your newly enhanced moveset. I've been on record saying I like when games give you all your abilities at once, like Mario Odyssey for example. The idea of having an entire moveset at your disposal from the beginning and allowing you to figure out how to best utilize that moveset has always been very appealing to me. Metroid does things differently. You grow your moveset over time and apply it to the environment. When it comes to the world of Metroid, this means the progression is without a doubt the right move. Although you're constantly backtracking, your new abilities open up new opportunities for exploration in a way that makes the revisited area seem like it's brand new. The necessity of backtracking does not simply act as a time filler to make the game seem longer. Instead, it adds a level of discovery and challenge to the adventure to keep you hooked. Early on, enemies may seem easier as Samus's abilities grow, but eventually those enemies will be replaced with tougher foes. Metroid's difficulty ramps up as Samus gets stronger, and it provides a great balance of difficulty and progression, allowing the game to grow with you. Samus controls like a dream. I've never experienced this deep level of combat in a 2D game. Samus can aim 360 degrees, which is a huge upgrade compared to Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo. My favorite addition to the combat was the melee counter. When an enemy flashes, you have a split second to time a counter attack and then blast them to smithereens. You can do a melee attack on the move this time around, making Metroid Dread a speedrunner's dream. Since this game is running at 60 frames per second, you'll notice the combat is much faster than past games. That may seem daunting at first, but it's definitely a welcoming addition as you feel a level of control and responsiveness that you've never felt before from our favorite bounty hunter. From a platforming perspective, things like wall jumps have returned, and they've never been easier to pull off. Later on, you learn handy moves like the double jump, and my favorite, the dash. Similar to Doom Eternal, you can swiftly evade enemies with the push of a button. Just make sure you plan out your dash beforehand, otherwise you may dash into an unwelcoming enemy. Small, subtle additions to the moveset like ledge grabs and sliding may not be groundbreaking by any means, but they add a level of fluidity to the movement that is unmatched. It's a good thing I broke down the movement, because you need to master Samus's moveset if you want to survive the Emmy robot sections. These seemingly indestructible killing machines will hunt you down in specific small sections of the world. You need to be quick on your toes and resourceful if you want to survive these encounters that may seem like they're straight out of a horror film. You'll be running, jumping, and sliding for your life. Metroid Dread shines the most through its boss fights. These are unforgiving encounters filled with multiple phases. Your timing needs to be virtually perfect, and you need to develop a game plan as you continuously die trying to figure out the best strategy via trial and error. I'm only showing footage of the first boss to minimize spoilers, but these were some of the best boss fights I've ever encountered in a video game. They're tough, adrenaline-rushing experiences that will cause many deaths, but once you learn the boss's moveset and figure out the right weakness and timing to exploit that weakness, you'll feel a true sense of growth. This may be one of the most difficult Nintendo games I have ever played, but Metroid Dread respects me as a gamer. It offers a seemingly impossible challenge while simultaneously providing me with more than enough abilities at my disposal to figure out the impossible. Have you ever been stumped while working on a puzzle? Metroid Dread can feel like that sometimes. There are times where I'm lost, I don't know where to go, my health is low, and I'm surrounded by foes. But when I obtain that new ability, it all clicks. I'm reminded of a specific passage I couldn't access in the past, and use that new ability to continue on my flow. I play video games to figure stuff out and gain a sense of accomplishment. In Metroid Dread, you start out as a weakling. You have to go through plenty of challenges and you will fail a lot, but due to your patience, diligence, and skill, you become stronger and eventually conquer your adventure.